In this experiment, we are going to talk about the categories of different materials on the basis of their characteristics. That means we are going to classify the different things that we have around us, different objects, different materials that we see around us on the basis of certain characteristic properties that are specific to them. So you will require different objects for this purpose. You can have different types of metals, whatever you can get access to very easily. You can have some materials such as sugar, juices, salt, petrol from the kitchen, then diesel, oil, plastic, steel, and anything you can get hold of, and you can classify it in the table. So a few objects are already given, but you may add as many as you want according to your choice. So let's start with this. The first object that we are going to talk about is iron. And the properties that we are going to consider are like whether the object is or whether the material is a solid, a liquid, or a gas. So solids are something that have definite shapes and they occupy a definite volume. Liquids are something that flow. They don't have any particular shape. They take the shape of any container in which they are poured. And gases are something that have neither a definite shape nor a definite volume. Then luster and dull means lustrous is something that is shiny, that has a metallic shine to it, and dull is something that doesn't shine. Water soluble means something that can dissolve in water, and non-soluble means anything that does not dissolve in water. Heat conduction means that whether that substance will allow heat to flow through it or not. And transparent means whether you can see through that object, and opaque is something through which you cannot see. So these are the properties we'll be considering. So for an iron object, I have an iron nail with me. So this is a nail that is made of iron. You can have a closer look at this. Now what do you think? What is the physical state of this iron nail? Yes, it is solid as already given here. Then can you see the shine on the surface? Can you see that metallic shine on the surface? Yes, it is there. So that is why it is lustrous, or it has a luster. What if you put this in water? Will it dissolve? Of course not. It will remain as it is. So it is non-soluble. If you heat one end of this nail, the heat flows to the other end and the entire nail becomes hot in some time. So that shows it is a good conductor. So yes, it allows heat to flow through it. So it is a conductor. And is it transparent or is it opaque? Can you see through it or not? Of course not. So it is opaque. So these are the general characteristics of a piece of iron. Similarly, you can pick up any object that is made of steel around you. I have this bottle made of steel with me. So this is a bottle of steel. Now you can see what is the physical state here. Yes, it is going to be solid. Does it have a luster? Does it shine? Yes. So it has a luster to it. If you put it in water, will it dissolve? No, it won't. So it is non-soluble. Is it a good conductor of heat? Yes, it is, because if you heat this bottle from the outside, the entire bottle becomes hot. And is it transparent or opaque? It is opaque. So this is how you will be checking for the properties. Next is gold. So I have a ring made of gold with me. So this is a gold ring that I have with me. So you can have a look at this. Is it solid, liquid, or gas? It is a solid. Is it lustrous or is it dull? Does it have a shine in it? Does it have a shine in it? Yes, it does. So it is lustrous. Is it going to dissolve in water if I put it in water? Of course not. So it is non-soluble. Is it a conductor? Yes, it is, because in fact all metals are conductors that way. And it is opaque because you cannot see through it, isn't it? So these were some properties of gold. Now a few more substances. This is a plastic pen in my hand. So I have a pen made of plastic. So solid, liquid, or gas? Now come on, you can do it very easily yourself. Now I'll just be writing the first letter, solid. Lustrous or dull? Does it have a shine? Plastic objects, in fact, they don't have a shine, so we can call it as dull. If you put it in water, will it dissolve? No, it won't. So it is non-soluble. Is it a conductor of heat? If you heat one side, will the other end become hot? No, it won't, because it will start melting from here only. So it is not a conductor. And what about the transparency? Is it transparent or opaque? Now this particular side is opaque, but if you look at the other side, it is transparent. So it could be both. It could either be transparent or it could be opaque. Next is petrol. So I have this petrol in a bottle with me. You can have a look at this. So this is petrol. Now, what is the physical state? If I tilt the bottle, it flows. It can flow. So yes, it is a liquid. Now, for liquids, we cannot use the term lustrous or dull, so we can just skip this over. If you put water in petrol, you will find that it doesn't dissolve. So it is non-soluble. That means petrol does not dissolve in water. Electrical conductivity, petrol is a bad conductor. So no, it's not a conductor. And what about the transparency? Yes, it is kind of transparent. Not exactly transparent, you can call it as translucent, but still it allows light to pass through it, and we have just two options. So we'll go for transparent here. Next is oil. So this is a sample of oil that I have with me. This is mustard oil. What is the physical state? You can see it flowing. If I tilt the bottle, it flows. So it is a liquid. Again, lustrous and dull will not be applicable for liquids. If you put this in water, let's see what happens. So I have some water with me and I put a few drops of oil in water. What do you see? Two different layers, oil and water. So that means it is not soluble. Then oil is not a conductor, so it won't be conducting. And what about the transparency of oil? So is this transparent? Again, it is kind of translucent. So can you see through it? If I hold my finger like on the other side, will you be able to see through it? Or if in that case I hold this iron nail behind it, can you see through it? No. It is faintly visible. It is faintly visible. So we can go with translucent here instead of transparent. So instead of using the word transparent, we can go with translucent here. Means it allows light to pass through it, but partially, not the entire light. Then sugar. So this is sugar. You all have sugar in your kitchen. So you can get hold of some sugar from the kitchen and identify the state. It is a solid. Is it lustrous or dull? No, it doesn't have any shine to it. So we'll put it under the category of dull. Now, if you add some sugar to water and you stir it, it does dissolve, right? So it is water soluble. It is not a conductor because sugar doesn't have ions in it, so it doesn't conduct electricity or heat. But yes, though it melts, but it isn't a conductor. What about its transparency? Is it transparent or opaque? Now for that, you will have to observe a crystal of sugar very, very closely and you will find that it is opaque. So isn't that interesting? So I have discussed 7 things with you. Now, diesel, juice, and many more. You can do this yourself. Try doing this yourself. You can pick up milk from your kitchen. You can pick up your pencil box. You can pick up your notebook. You can have a glass of water with you. There are so many objects which you can classify according to this. So go for it, complete this table and write it in your notebook.